to Coffee with the Mayor. I'm Teresa Aronson, President and CEO of the St. Lucie County Chamber of Commerce. It's our pleasure, our honor to host this event every single second Friday of the month. It's free. It's open to the public. It starts at 8:30. We throw in coffee in Danish. We'd love for you to come on down to City Hall, and we're in Council Chambers. I'm going to start the show today with our sponsor, and the sponsor for our entire year this year is none other than Mid-Florida Credit Union. Welcome. And Miles, this is your first time with us, yes?
It is. Thank you for having us.
Well, tell everybody a little bit about yourself, Miles.
Mid-Florida's been around since 1954. We're a local community credit union. We've had the office in US 1 for a couple years now. A lot of you might be familiar with some of the new offices that we've opened up. One off Gatlin Boulevard, December of last year. And then we have one in St. Lucie West that opened up in March of last year. And we also have an office off Canner Highway in Stewart that's supposed to be opening up about third quarter of this year.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, tell us about you, Miles. Like, what's Miles' last name? Where's Miles from?
My name is Miles Tlayson. I'm a relationship banker there. I've been there for almost going on 2 years now.
Okay.
I work at the US 1 office. I just transferred from the Gatlin office, which some of my colleagues are here today. So please, if you guys have any time and you guys are thinking about switching, you want any more information, we'd definitely want you to come in and see if we could bank you there. So.
Well, Mid-Florida is our guest every month, so we've learned a lot about them, and we now have the Mid-Florida Event Center over on US 1.
It's exciting.
Yeah, it's great. There's been some great events over there. There's more to come. Tell us, though, about Mid-Florida. What have you guys got going on that you want people to know about? What kind of specials are happening?
We have a ton of ways that you guys can make money if you're already a member with us or if you're a non-member. So for a personal account, we can get you up to $300. That's for a direct deposit coming in, not something that has to be reoccurring. We have a lot of money coming in for refinancing car loans as well. Our rates have been continually dropping. Mm-hmm. And we also, if you're a brand new business, we can get you up to $600. So obviously there is criteria you have to meet, but once you meet all that criteria, there's no 30 or 60-day waiting period. You get that money immediately.
You do?
So as far as holiday clubs and things like that, a lot of bigger banks, they don't always offer things like that, but Christmas clubs is something you might be more familiar with. That's something that we do offer with a very, very minimal balance. Yes, sir.
Oh, wait, we got questions. We can't do questions.
Oh,
We're not
sorry,
set up
too early.
Yeah, you can't do that, Miles. We're not set up for questions.
Too early. I'll talk to you after.
He was ready to go, wasn't he? All right, well, I have a couple of things I wanted to ask you about. Interest rate for mortgages, they're dropping, yes?
They are. We actually have a mortgage rep here with us, so that would probably be the person that gets some more direct information from it, but yes, they have been.
Okay, and maybe we'll talk about that next month because that's been in the news quite a bit lately. The Holiday Club I love because I think it's a 2%.
It is up to $4,000.
Up to $4,000.
It's only got $20 as a minimum to open that account.
And you get it out in October or November?
November 1st. We pay you out the interest at that point, and then it's up to you whether you want to put some money back in or
roll over or spend it on. Yeah, okay, perfect. Very good, great information. If you do have questions for Mid-Florida, we have a whole team here. We have mortgage, we have everything. So I'm sure they'll be happy to help you.
Appreciate the time, of course.
Of course, and I want to thank you for being with you. You did a great job your first time out.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back, everybody. Welcome back to Coffee with the Port St. Lucie Mayor. I failed to mention in our previous segment, the mayor, we're sans mayor today, so he was not able to be with us, but he did invite a guest to come on down, and his name is Josh Lapp, and Josh is heading up the art master plan for the city of Port St. Lucie. We've started that journey. We're working on it. And so please welcome Josh Lapp. He's going to tell us a little bit more about it. Thank you, Josh. Okay, Josh, let's get into it. What is an art master plan?
So a public art master plan really helps the city understand how it wants to proceed with public art in the future. So what that means is we're going to help determine what locations and what types of locations the city would like to put public art in, what type of public art people in the community would like to see. We're also instituting policies around how the city acquires public art and like processes for how they do that. And really, I would say the key to the Public Art Master Plan is our engagement with the public. So we're going around at events like this. When events are scheduled again in the future, we will be back here and getting out to the public. And in between now and then, we have a digital survey available. So we're really looking to get input from people on all those questions.
Yeah, I think that's why they had you here today. They want people's input, so we need to make sure that we're telling people how to access this survey so that their voice can be heard. So let's get into that. How do they take the survey?
It's really easy. You can go to cityofpsl.com/publicart, and that will take you right to our survey. It's like 5 to 10 minutes, but it's really for us trying to understand, what is the story of Port St. Lucie, and how can we use public art to tell that story out in the built environment all around Port St. Lucie?
Now, I fear, Mark, we may have some questions, so if you guys can get the mic, we'll do that. But so instituting policy, you're going to be making policy recommendations to the council, who will then initiate that policy as they so choose. Okay. And so, they may be more internal policies. So currently, and we can talk about this a little bit, the city has a funding policy. So what that means is any development that's being built, 1% of the cost of that development, up to $100,000, either has to be installed, a piece of public art of that amount needs to be installed by the developer, or the developer pays a fee to the city that's slightly less than that amount, and the city uses those funds to put public art out. So that policy is in place, and we're not intending to change that. But what we are looking at is making sure that the city and the Public Art Advisory Board, who advises City Council and gives recommendations on purchases of public art, has things in place, really strong policies in place for purchasing public art. So making sure the processes, the calls for artists and things are being run in a very efficient way. That we have a donation policy. So when somebody decides that they want to gift a piece of public art to the city, we know whether or not the city should say yes or no. Because sometimes the answer is no, because there's not funding to maintain it. A maintenance policy, we really need to make sure that we have strong policy in place in order to maintain the public art that we are installing. And then also figuring out, what do we do when it's been 30 years and this piece of public art is no longer in good condition? Should we keep it? Should we repair it? So we'll have a policy in place around that too. Those are some good policies, because we do lack policies in those areas, and we do need to make sure we know what we're doing going forward. That's fantastic. Okay, I like that. So do we have questions on public art? Everybody is good on public art? Okay. 1 second. We'll get to you just a second, Tammy.
I'm an artist, all right? And I remember having working class parents, relatives, etc. I think it's insane the amount of money some of these artists are making, and how little coverage working people got.
Okay. Well, I think it was more of a statement than a question.
Well, I will say one of the things that is exciting about the Port St. Lucie program is that there's the opportunity for a variety of artwork to be purchased. So some of the artwork that is being purchased is very expensive, and these are like people that are world-renowned artists that are doing things all over. But because of the flexibility that the funding provides the city, that we don't always have to spend it on a piece of public art that we have to keep for 30 years. We can also do more temporary installations and other kind of installations within buildings and things like that would allow for more smaller scale artists. And so we're hopefully have the opportunity to reach a wide variety of folks.
Tammy had a question. We'll go to Tammy Crandall, and then we'll come up to you, sir.
Stand up, please.
Okay. My question is in regards to the size of business. You mentioned policies that are in place. When a business establishes itself, there's a certain percentage. Is there a certain business type or size that is exempt from that requirement?
It's actually around development rather than business.
Yeah.
So
new construction.
New construction.
It's new construction.
Yeah. So, but in terms of who that affects, it does affect any new construction.
Commercial.
Commercial. Yeah, so it does impact large-scale residential, but not single-family residential.
And when you, large scale, if it's a planned unit development, they are considered a part of that, but not a single lot development, but it is new construction. Thank you for the question though, Tammy, I appreciate it. We had a question up front.
So my name's Joe David. I'm with the St. Lucie Rock and Gem Club. We do a lot of art. I was wondering, is this, when you say public art, is this inside buildings or is it strictly outside displays?
You know, it's fun. And I can answer some of these questions because I do happen to be on the Public Art Advisory Board. Yeah, so there you go. We have kind of, that has evolved over time because at first it was allowed to be inside if the public was able to go inside, but there's been some controversy over that. And so we're working on a better policy there as well, because I think that the leaders of the community are leaning towards access publicly outside. But that I'm sure is going to be part of
that we're specifically talking about for private development.
Yeah.
Because my firm, Designing Local, we work all around the country, and we've worked with some cities that have had these types of programs in place for 25 or 30 years. And sometimes what happens is if the developer or the person building that building is allowed to put their art within the inside of their building, we don't have a good mechanism to keep track of that. And so after 20 years, where's that art? What's it doing? Is it still publicly accessible? Can people actually go and see it? So while they may have met the letter of the ordinance, are they really meeting the spirit of us putting art out into the environment? Probably not. So we're talking through that. Now, having said that, when we're talking about the city spending funds, I mean, we still are talking about exterior art for the most part, so sculptures or other things on buildings. But there is a potential for the city to spend it in public spaces. So we're in a public space right now that's publicly accessible. So that might be a little bit different, but for the most part, probably not.
Yeah, and that is the difference. You know, say a doctor's office wants to put up Highwayman paintings in their waiting area. Technically, you can go in, but why are you going in? You know, so there's always going to be some controversy. But a public building, a gym, a civic center, that sort of thing, it's definitely accessible to the public, and more than just patients. Private patients are going to be brought in for the ability to see that. But good question.
Yes, these are fantastic questions. Thank you.
Tammy, you had another question? That's okay.
Is there a place that people can go to see what the current discussion guidelines are for people to view or to be able to provide input?
Well, the public art is an ordinance, and it is available online. All ordinances for the city of Port St. Lucie are available. So you can see that it reads like an ordinance, you know. There's no place, and Sarah can correct me if I'm wrong, that recaps all the art projects. Okay.
So that is part of what we're doing as part of this public art master plan. So the website that I directed you to, cityofpsl.com/publicart, that, while right now takes you to a survey, in the future it will take you to a page that explains all of the public art ordinance and policies, and also we'll have a database of all the public art that's already available in Port St. Lucie. So I'm here from out of town, and when I walked into my hotel, I looked over to the left, and lo and behold, there's a piece of public art, and I assumed that it was from this ordinance because it's a new hotel, and that's part of the program. But I didn't know. So in the future, we'll be able to actually have all those pieces of public art identified so you can go out and see them.
How you got them. Because
yes.
Another good one is on Gatlin. Mid-Florida put up some great art pieces along Gatlin. It's
Yes.
not on their property per se, so people don't know where they came from and how we got them. So I love that idea of having a master. One more question in the back. It's the same people. We're going up and down the same people. That's okay. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, she did.
Okay. I have a son. I'm an artist. I worry about training our kids that art pays better than working. That's all I'm saying.
I don't think any artist would say it.
Yeah, I mean, there are certainly well-paid artists in the country, and those people probably number in the maybe hundreds out of 350 million people. Most of the artists that we,
Are you talking about music and everything else?
I'm not talking about music. I'm talking about public art for sure. Oh, which is true, yeah. But you know, I don't think that it is certainly, there are folks out there making a good living on that, but for the most part, I think we're really looking at.
Yeah, he called them hobbies, but it takes
Yeah.
all kinds to make the world go round, you know?
Yeah.
Everybody's got to find their niche, and I hope they do what's happy to them. If they're lucky enough to make a living doing what they love, good for them.
And I will say, just to take a step back a little bit more to help folks understand why we're even doing this in the first place. You know, for a community like Port St. Lucie that was founded in 1960 and is really relatively new as communities go, public art is an opportunity for the city to help tell a story about itself. So it doesn't have a downtown. It doesn't have those kind of landmarks of historical communities. So we're really looking at public art as an opportunity to, number one, help tell the story of the community, and number two, help define the community in the eyes of the public. And so that might be people in St. Lucie County, it might be people that are coming and visiting the community, but we want to be a part of the growth and the development of the community.
Sure.
And really helping to tell the story. So that's
It helps,
what we're doing.
you know, beautiful cities, quality of life, all
Yes.
that kind of great
Yes.
stuff. So I understand definitely the importance of public art. Thank you, Josh,
Yes,
for
thank you so
coming
much.
today. I
Yes.
really enjoyed it. I'm very happy to see that we're going to be addressing some of the vague policies of how to proceed. So that sounds great to me. And again, cityofportstlucie.com. Is it / or / public art?
Cityofpsl.com
Yep.
/public art.
Very good. Thank you, Josh.
so
Thank
much.
you, Josh. We'll be right back, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome to Coffee with the mayor. We have no mayor, but you do have me, Teresa Aronson, St. Lucie County Chamber of Commerce. This has happened to me once or twice before. So I am very willing to answer questions. I know we have a bit of a light crowd today, the elephant in the room. Has anybody heard of this new thing? I think it's called coronavirus. Nobody's talking about it. You heard it here first. But anyway, we're going to continue. The Chamber of Commerce will continue to monitor that situation. We talk about it, as I'm sure all of you do, on a daily basis. And we have to weigh the effects on business, the effects on safety, the effects on the community long terms. It's no easy task. I get the calls every day. Haven't you canceled this? Haven't you canceled that? The big worries are the large events. And we really recognize that. We will make some adjustments as new developments here on the Treasure Coast, which we do suspect will occur. But as of right now, I'm so happy to see all of you, and I thank you very much for coming out today. It's very nice to have an audience. So we're not quite ready to NCAA this thing. We're still going. We're a small town with a few people in the audience. I'm wondering, does anybody in the audience have any questions for me? As you remember, and I'll give you at least Bob knows before he asks us, I am not an employee of the city. I am independent. I run a nonprofit. That is the Chamber of Commerce. I'm not affiliated with government. I do serve on some boards and all that kind of great stuff, but I am not a government employee. Mr. Bob.
Morning, my name is Bob Butterfield from CBS 12 Television. I'm just curious, is there a central website or something where we can go and look to see what events are still going on or which ones are canceled? How can we figure out what's still happening?
Yeah, well, there's a couple of things I would suggest. Because it happens so fast, you want it in real time. So a lot of the news channels, like Channel 12, have been doing a great job to do it regionally. I think that here, you know, our chamber on our website, as we cancel something, if we do cancel something, it will be on our website. Facebook is a great way to stay in touch. I hate to say it, like they need more business, but also contact that individual event facilitator, because it's very difficult. It's happening so fast. But I see Channel 12 and all the rest of the TV stations are really on board with making sure they're getting that information out with schools and all that kind of great stuff as well. Our gentleman in the back has a question. Anybody else have a question? Nobody.
Speaking of the coronavirus, I was at Publix yesterday near where I live, US 1 Prima Vista area, and they were sold out of toilet paper. And the lady was like, you know what's going on, Mike? I said, what? They says they are selling it online. Markups way high.
Yes.
This is why I don't trust us with money.
Well, I can tell you that gouging is illegal. So if somebody's trying to gouge you, or if they're doubling the price, either online or locally,
$80 for
you can report them for that, because you can't do that. The fascination with toilet paper is just beyond me. I hear it's a comfort item, and but everybody's sold out of toilet paper. I'm aware. I don't get it. I always say my comfort item is chocolate cake, but if toilet paper's yours, you go for it.
Now that you announced this, it's going to be gone.
Yeah, the chocolate cake's gonna be gone too. I hear different things, and I don't know if I believe any one of them, but apparently that's the thing right now. It's a comfort. It is comforting to have toilet paper, but I'm not gonna stockpile a decade's worth. but anyway, another question down. Anybody else have a question? Boy, we're doing really good. I'm glad they're not asking me too many coronavirus, 'cause I'm not a doctor. Just play one on, local TV. All right. Well, it is going to be a short show. Like I said, we're willing to share anything. If you have questions, you can always contact me, and Sarah's here from the city. She does their communications as well. I want to remind everybody that you can see this broadcast. You can do it on demand, online, on YouTube. It's also on Comcast 20, Uverse 99, and now Blue Fiber Channel 20, I guess. So we appreciate that. And thank you to Josh Lapp for coming out and being our guest today, and always to Mid-Florida. We love having you guys. And thanks to all of you for coming out. We do hope we'll see you, but stay posted to our website, stluciechamber.org, for any further announcements about events. Have a great day, everybody.